Hello everyone, are you ready to delve back into the archives with me? Let's go. Today we're going to be looking at the case of the fatal accident to the Flying Man, which is all about Vincent de Groof, who was an inventor of contraptions that would help him to fly. And a very sorry end, as reported by the London Evening Standard in July 1874. Let's have a look. Fatal accident to the Flying Man. M. de Groof, the Flying Man, was advertised to make his second descent from Cremorne Gardens last night at 7:30, and a descent of 5,000 feet through the air. There was an enormous attendance of people, and punctually to time, M. de Groof made his appearance, fitted with peculiar bat-like wings, which he worked with his arms. He was suspended by a rope about 30 feet below the car of a balloon, a hot air balloon, so he's attached to his contraption below a hot air balloon, and so ascended from the grounds. The balloon rose almost perpendicularly to a distance of about 1,000 yards, where it remained almost steady for nearly 30 minutes. It then descended slightly, then getting into better current of air, went over the King's Road in a northwesterly direction, exactly over the Chelsea workhouse. Near St. Luke's Church, the balloon rapidly fell towards the ground, and to within 100 feet of it. When near the tower of the church, the Flying Man cut himself clear and came down to the road opposite the church in Robert Street, Chelsea, with a fearful crash. He was immediately picked up and conveyed to the new infirmary, where Dr. W. H. Nethercroft, the medical superintendent, immediately pronounced life extinct. Another account states that when in the gardens, M. de Groof appeared in the highest of spirits, and when the signal was given for the ascent, he took his pipe out of his mouth, placed it in his pocket, and then took an affectionate farewell to his wife, who was standing near him. The balloon then ascended very steadily, and the deceased danced on his platform to the tune played by the band, and he was loudly cheered by the spectators. After ascending a great height, the balloon hovered over the gardens for fully half an hour, and then went in a slightly northerly direction, and then slowly descended. We're getting two differing stories already here. When over Robert Street, Chelsea, and on a level with St. Luke's Church, he was cut away. The machine appears to offer no resistance whatsoever to the air, and de Groof fell with a heavy thud on the curb, and was killed on the spot. His body was at once conveyed to the Chelsea Infirmary, where his wife shortly afterwards arrived, and the scene, as may be imagined, was one of the most painful description. The deceased, who was only 35 years of age, had no relative in England except his wife. It is stated in another report that just as the balloon reached St. Luke's Church, it was obvious to the aeronaut that unless he let go of the Flying Man, his balloon would inevitably come in contact with the spire of the church and end in destruction of both lives. So the person controlling the balloon was just as thought their life was in danger too. Just as the Flying Man began rapidly to descend, the aeronaut threw out 3 bags of ballast in order to prevent the balloon coming down also. And it is supposed that the ballast coming into contact with the apparatus put it out of gear, for the Flying Man was dashed to the ground with great violence in Robert Street, and was fearfully injured, so much so that he was put in a cab and taken to the hospital. This says that throwing the ballast out of the balloon actually hit the flying machine, and damaged it, causing it to fall. It's a manslaughter. It seems that de Groof asked on Tuesday to be allowed to go up, but the authorities of the gardens refused to permit him owing to the prevalence of a strong wind. Thousands of persons who attended the gardens were highly disappointed at his not going up, and demanded readmission tickets, which the manager was compelled to give. Many thousands of the disappointed persons attended the gardens last night to witness his ascent, and were gratified at the sight of his boldness in going. In the car of the balloon there were 6 persons, They paid 3 guineas each for the privilege of travelling with a flying man. As he fell from the balloon, he turned over 3 or 4 times and came down on his face, breaking his neck. Yikes. What do we think of de Groof then? Pretty brave to be experimenting with these things, and he was known as the Batman as well, from some of the reading I've been doing. But probability caught up with him, I suppose, and this is what happens. Well, that's it for this time. Join me next time for another delve into the British newspaper archives. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.